My wife's 35 female ex-boyfriend is terminally ill and would like to use his Make-A-Wish to spend a day with her. I am 40 male, torn on what to do. My wife, let's call her Susan, and I have been married for 8 years. I've known her even before we were together, during which she was dating someone named Ken. Obviously not a real name. We were all part of a choral group in our church. The three of us were quite good friends and I genuinely thought Susan and Ken were going to get married / be together for a long time. It was a shock when Susan told me that they are no longer together. According to her, one day Ken just decided that he wanted to move interstate. When asked why, he didn't explain. The next day, he asked Susan if she wanted to join him. Confused, Susan said no, since she thought it was way too soon and she has work commitments. He then proceeded to break up with her, leaving Susan very depressed and confused. According to a piece of information from a friend several months after the breakup, Ken has planned this for a long time, and that he was seeing someone else interstate. However, these were all allegations, based on some texts, and until now Susan never found out why he left, or why he broke up with her. It was all very confusing. When asked by friends on why they were no longer together, she simply said, "I don't know. He just broke up with me cause I don't want to move interstate with him." Years passed, we all forgot about it. Susan started to open up to me more, and then we started dating. The rest followed. Anyway, yesterday Susan received a call from Ken's mom. She's a nice lady who semi-frequently watches our performances and volunteered during the Christmas carol season. It was all very sudden, because we only see her once or twice a year, and she's never called in the past. She told Susan that Ken is terminally ill and has been for the past couple of months. He is in a local hospital interstate. The hospital has a mini Make-A-Wish foundation run by volunteers, and apparently, Ken's request is to go to the national park for a picnic with her. It's all weird, right? I thought it was a bluff too, but it all seems legit. I talked to Ken's mom, and we both agreed that it's odd. Ken's mom said that Susan doesn't have to say yes, she's simply passing on what Ken said. The prognosis for Ken is grim, and we don't know how much time we have left. I suppose the sooner we decide the better. Susan is obviously confused. She wants nothing to do with Ken again, after what he's done to her, and a lengthy period has passed since then, but she admitted that she would feel bad refusing his last wish, especially if his prognosis is that grim. She said jokingly, "Well, you don't have to worry about me cheating. He's going to die anyway." A bit dark, but I mean she has a point. Personally, I'm torn too. I trust Susan and I know nothing romantic or anything will come from this if she chooses to see Ken. But why does he want to see her now? For closure? That's the only thing I can think of. He will most likely have a hospital volunteer stick around when he goes to the outing, so it's not like he can do anything weird. But why her? Why not use his wish for something else, reversing the situation? However, if I'm terminally ill and obviously have an intention to meet someone, etc., and it gets rejected, I would be beyond depressed. I know how awful it must be for your last wish to be rejected. Am I looking too much into this? Should we honor his wish and let Susan spend the day with him? Or should we just refuse it? Any input is appreciated. Edit. Forgot to add that when going for the picnic, there will be a hospital volunteer tagging along to supervise Ken, so they won't be left alone. Update 1. So my wife got hold of Ken's mom and we managed to ask more questions / clarifications. Ken's mom only just heard about his plan to see Susan yesterday, no mention of it throughout his hospital stay. Ken has been reaching out to a lot of people recently, including his high school friends. She thinks that this could be a blanket attempt to reconcile with many people. When asked if she remembered anything / if Ken said anything regarding breakup with Susan, Susan actually asked this question herself. She said that she didn't even know both of them broke up until a couple of weeks after. An interesting thing she said is that Ken has always felt that there's nothing much for him to do in the state he was originally from, the state we're in, and that he wanted something different. He may have jumped the gun too quickly, landed a job too soon without consulting Susan. He didn't, and freaked when realizing Susan was not ready to move. Ken's mom thinks this is most likely the cause of the breakup, even though Ken never told her exactly why. They are not very close. Upon hearing this, Susan thinks it makes sense, but she said what he did was still not very nice because he never told her that he was unhappy with their living arrangements at the time. Even though Ken did well in his new job, it was very stressful and he got into weed/alcohol/heavy smoking. Those contribute to his current illness. It has been confirmed a medical volunteer will accompany him if he does choose to go outside hospital grounds. Since Ken is getting more unsteady on his feet, he will most likely be wheelchair bound soon, according to her. When asked why meeting Susan in a park was his idea, Ken's mom simply had no idea. Ken is happy for me to accompany Susan to the park/venue, wherever it may be. He is also fine with us meeting him in the hospital, but there is a strict 2-person a day visiting rule in place at the moment, so his mom may not be able to look after him if the both of us rocks up at the same time. His mom would like to visit him daily to help with daily living/baths. Ken is reluctant with a Skype call or a phone call in general. Ken's mom stated that his speech is quite slurred at this stage and he hasn't been eating and drinking much lately, so his mouth is dry most days, so it's uncomfortable for him to speak. Writing a letter is not something he can do these days due to him being drowsy from medication/sedated. Dictating would be hard too because see the point above. She has been helping him type emails to friends for some days. There is a possibility of Ken to be transferred to his mom's home for his end of life if it gets to that stage. Ken's mom reiterates that Susan can decline the offer, and with everything going on in the world she would understand if she can't make it, but she hopes that we would consider it for her son. With this conversation with his mom, we are now more inclined to go instead of not going. Still would like some thoughts on what we may have missed, though I think it covers everything now. We will be in regular contact with his mom until we know what's going on. Susan and I did a mini risk assessment and we conclude that this is pretty harmless. She said she still feels apathetic towards him, but would still feel bad if she doesn't go to visit, so she would like to go with me now that Ken and his mom said it's okay for both of us to go. Update 2. Susan and I just got back from doing shopping/chores, and we had some more talks about this. We reached out to a couple of our friends in the choral group, and one of them knew Ken's been unwell, just didn't know that he's that unwell. No one talks about Ken in our group, because Susan and I are still there. The fact that he's this unwell has been kept under wraps quite tightly. Susan said it seems like she has the power to make Ken's end of life a bit easier, so she would like to visit him along with me and listen to what he has to say, if any, and that's the end of it. We don't know what the logistics will be / when this will happen, since it would require a lot of planning from Ken's family as well, and himself, but we've texted our choral group members to perhaps visit him together when the time is right and restrictions are lifted, and they were all keen to send him off with one last song, The Irish Blessing. For those of you saying Make-A-Wish Foundation is for kids, we know this. This is the hospital's version of it, run completely by volunteers. It is only available at the end-of-life care facilities. I'm sure there is a proper name for this, and Ken's mom said Make-A-Wish because it explains what they do simply. Why in the park? No clue. But Ken must have said that to the organizer with his mom and she simply relayed it. With him being that sick, I'm sure he didn't care so much about location, as signified by his willingness for a change of venue, and for me to join in too. If it's just Ken and he's not dying, and he wants to meet Susan at the park out of the blue, then the answer would have been no from the both of us. But the fact that he's been reaching out to others after revelation with his mom, of course, and unwell, makes it a bit more complicated. Update 3. The meeting went really well. So after a couple of reschedules, we drove to the hospital to see Ken and his mom earlier this week. We arrived quite early in the morning, around 8 AM. His mom stays with him overnight most days, so it was good timing for her to hand over Ken to us while she goes back and rests. A Redditor suggested an idea that we brought in a care package for her, and we did. It's just a box filled with a couple of pairs of warm socks, moisturizers, books, and toiletries. She burst into tears when receiving those. It was such a great idea. Anyway, so firstly we came in together, my wife and myself, and we did a small catch up. It was a slow process, since Ken couldn't speak too long in one go, if I make sense, so it had to be broken up in sections. I asked him if he would like some time alone with Susan, and he said yes, so I left both of them alone and went out for a walk / do a bit of remote work on my laptop. I just told her to text me if she needs anything. So I left Susan and Ken for about a couple hours before Susan texted me that I can come back up. Anyway, during this time Susan asked what happened to Ken. Why did he move interstate so soon, and was there another motive behind it? Well, the story goes as follows. Ken was working a low-paying job at the time and was feeling like he's never going to get any career progression. Susan and I knew Ken has always been creative-minded. He got a diploma in film and everything. But what we didn't know is that behind everyone's back, during that time, he was searching for career opportunities in film/animation industry. He put in a job application for fun, and a few months later, got offered a position as an intern animator, something along those lines according to Susan. He was stoked, but he didn't expect that he would get the job. Therefore, he never planned anything in advance. The job required him to move interstate as soon as possible, and Ken felt pressured to say yes, since he's applied to other similar jobs in the past but got rejected, hence why it took him by surprise and he didn't do any planning. It's the well I won't get it anyway so why I should make arrangements mentality, according to Susan. So he asked Susan to move with him, but left out the job details, since as an intern, he will get paid even less than what he's earning, with a lot of voluntary work. He was scared that Susan will not approve of the lower wage, so he left out the details and just asked her to move out with him. He admitted it was stupid and apologized for being immature about it. After the breakup, and after working a few months as an intern, he said that working in that industry is not like what he thought it would be. There was a lot of crunch time, to the point where he and the other interns were spending most of their time in the office, even sleeping while waiting for the program/code/animation to finish compiling. I'm not tech savvy, but I figured animations take a long time to set up. He then got into alcohol, since everyone in the office also drinks. This then turned to severe drinking to cope with stress. This then turned to smoking and drugs. Anyway, he stuck it out and became a technical lead, but he said he had zero social life or support apart from a couple of colleagues, and that he's burning himself out every day. The support he got was a small group that goes out on social drinks only. That's why he kept going back into alcohol and drugs, etc. He's been in and out of the hospital with alcohol poisoning and never sought help. He said he might also be depressed, but he's earning enough just to pay rent, with all his alcohol expenses etc. So he didn't seek any help. He also did a lot of other bad decisions that are popcorn worthy, but way too long to include here. Things that got him arrested, fired from his job, so he had to find another, etc. When asked about the park situation, he said there was no malice intended. It was only because he was sick of being in hospital all the time with no window of opportunity to go outside. And that's it. His substance abuse got him to where he is now. I managed to catch up with him and reminisce about the good old days when we were still hanging out together. Told him it's hard to see anyone these days due to COVID. He said that a few of his old friends from school have visited him, and he was so happy that they still care. He told me that he tried reaching out to his former girlfriend as well to apologize, but only Susan turned up. He has had other relationships since breaking up with her. He said he's sad about it, but he would like to tie up loose ends while he still has the time. In terms of his prognosis, I asked, and he said he doesn't know, though there are plans for him to continue end-of-life care at home, and he would prefer it that way. When we left Ken, I asked Susan what she thought of everything, and she told me that she felt a lot better now that she's gone and seen him. She then told me all of the stories above during the ride back home. Plenty of time she was cursing and saying, "Man, I can't believe he did that. What a dumb person." So for those of you who were worried that she might go back to Ken, sorry to burst your bubble, I don't think it's happening. I asked her how she's feeling again the next day and she's pretty much forgotten about it and just hoped that his mom can cope with the stress, since she's a nice person. She does look a lot less guilty though, so I'm glad we did went. We haven't touched on this topic again for days now, since we've been focusing more on work and our upcoming road trip. In these uncertain times, we should still try to be kind to others. And if there's any takeaway from this, is to seek help if you need it. Obviously, Ken was in a bad spot, but spurred by bad influences. If you know a friend of yours who is spiraling out of control or starting to get into destructive habits, reach out. Who knows, you might save a life. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like, get subscribed, and give the OP any advice you have in the comment section, and support the original writers with upvotes. Links in the description box.